Grand Rising, and welcome to the Voice of Cheryl. I am Toothless Tiger. I'd like to say thank you. There are two individuals that I'm going to name, and one is Jocelyn Wallace, and the second is Taurus McCrae. I want to thank you guys for being the first two people to send me a Cash App, and I'd like to send a token of gratitude to you by way of one of my t-shirts. And you can choose from several different ones. But I'd like to know your sizes and an address that I can send it to. You can email me at the email that's scrolling below. It's cyjourn1026@gmail.com. I want to say thank you. I am humbled by the people that I've met over the internet. Just in the past 5 days alone, I've had the privilege to be on Kwame's show, and then for the past two nights, I was a guest on Mr. Skinny's show, and I've ran into some beautiful people, and we had some serious topics that we spoke on. The latest topic that I was speaking on was a video by the women of the Real TV show that comes on Channel 4 in Dallas, and that's Fox. And the women were speaking about Kwame Brown. I thought that was a little unusual because I had never heard of them speaking on Kwame Brown before this video. Kwame has a lot that you could say about him, and they certainly should have said something about him, given that he made history, being the first child out of high school going into the NBA. Matter of fact, he made the Guinness Book of World Records. There's a lot of things they could say that he said he was in the cheese line and he was able to bring his family out of the ghetto and put his mother on the golf course. Changed the whole trajectory of their lives. So it's a lot of things they could have said about him, but they didn't. Instead, they chose to speak on a video that he made referencing a jersey being made into a dress. That's very important because the jersey was of one Kobe Bryant, who is a basketball player. And Kobe and his daughter were in an accident 2 years ago. Peace be unto you. In that accident, they lost their lives. And so this marked the second year, January 26th. And so in honoring him, what Kwame said was he doesn't speak to children, so he will address the man. And he was just wondering why. If you're going to honor him, wouldn't you honor him the way he lived his life as a heterosexual male, married to a woman and with children, their children? He was a formidable opponent, and everybody knew it. He was athletic, masculine, feared God through his son, Jesus Christ. And he believed that he could do all things through him. That's what Kwame said. But instead, the women on the Real decided to take that beautiful tribute that Kwame made and turned it into something that's very ugly. They accused him of talking about the man's child, and the man being another professional basketball player. They accused him of talking about people who are LGBTQ, I believe it is. I may have gotten the alphabets wrong. Please forgive me if I did. It was not my intention. But I am not of that class, so I don't find myself using it a lot. But I want to show respect, just like I want you to show respect to me. As a Moabite woman, that's an Asiatic Moorish American, I think it's time that we as mothers come together and start protecting our men, our sons, our nephews. We need to do that. It's hard enough for them living here in America. They have to fight with everything and everybody. And it's so unfortunate. Our communities are in disarray, and all because of a system. And now, where there should be honor, there is a lot of bickering and people voicing their opinions, as am I. I'm only voicing my opinion. And it's causing controversy, taken away from the real issue. And that was honoring Kobe Bryant and his daughter in a manner that was befitting of his life. So I don't debate people, not about things that I'm giving an opinion on. You're welcome to leave comments. I don't have a problem with that. But I need you to understand that, young ladies of the real, that was very disrespectful, in my opinion, what you did to Kwame. And I believe you owe him an apology. I'm going to leave in my description box the Facebook posting that you can go to and leave a comment, as did I. Anybody who watched this video, I ask that you please go and make a comment. We need to start holding people accountable. Unacceptable behavior is unacceptable. I don't care who does it. And we need to know that, and we need to start holding people accountable, adults, for unacceptable behavior. We have a grievance system. And if we don't voice our opinion when we disagree with something, then that means that we acquiesce to whatever is being said. And no, I do not agree with what they said, what they did, and how they did it. It is so unfair. Now I understand the system in which we live. And they say that we have freedom of speech via the First Amendment. They say we have a right to speak. But when we speak, what we say can and is used against us, not only in the court of law, but in the court of public opinion. We have such a mentality. I call it animal husbandry, the herd mentality, that if one person say they disagree with something, instead of anyone weighing the facts and then coming to their own conclusion, they'll just jump on the bandwagon and disagree just like that person. They don't even know what they're disagreeing to, but they disagree nonetheless. I ask you to go back and just look at Kwame's video and what he said and weigh for yourself what was said. And then if you still disagree, then we disagree. And I can move on. This is the month that they set aside for individuals that call themselves Negro, Blacks, Coloreds, African Americans. And what I'd like for you to do is to take time this month to get to know self. If you've never researched anything about your history, start this month. I thought it too. Let me go back to this before I get off of that subject. I thought it too very strange that the video was made when it happened in real time, January 26th. But isn't it ironic that the women on the reel waited until February the 2nd, which is the second day of the month that we're supposed to be celebrating our history and our existence, to bring out such a response that invokes controversy. And so now we're no longer thinking about our heritage and our history. We're now defending, or trying to defend, or maybe we're not defending, maybe we're combating the women of the view. And I keep saying the view, but it's the real. And I've said the view so many times, and I made this video over, but I refuse to do that now. It is the real, the women of the real. So I would ask you to forgive me, view, because I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the women of the real, the women that owe Kwame Brown an apology. And we as mothers, sisters, aunts, cousins, friends, girlfriends, wives, we're going to demand that we get one, because he deserved that. He was talking about the honor of his friend, his teammate, the man who encouraged him to get out there and play with a broke arm, shoulder, and a broke ankle. He said the determination that that young man played with gave him so much. It was awesome to see. And I can imagine. I can only imagine. But when Kwame speaks of Kobe, it's so endearing, and you can hear it in his voice. So for them to take a man who is as honorable and integral and humble as Kwame Brown and plaster him out into the world on Channel 4 television, Fox network, it's truly a disrespect to us as a people. And to do that in the month that we're celebrating the people. So now we're not talking about the celebration of us as a people. We're defending a community that we're not a part of, because they say he offended them by what he said. Everybody has a right to believe whatever they want to believe, and to accept whatever they want to accept. But I'm 63 years old, and I was always taught that you have a male and a female, and you don't have the opportunity to choose. It was chosen for you by your creator. And if that be true, I don't know how we change it now, but I'm not here to talk about that, because that's not what he talked about. He never mentioned the child, other than the fact that he doesn't talk about children. So I think it's unfair. And I asked anyone who's willing to join me in acknowledging that it's unfair. I was taught that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And then in my preparing for this video, I wanted to find a quote. My daddy has many, and I, love using his. But I ran across one. I'm thinking, I don't know who did the quote, because it's in question who actually did the quote. I think JFK said it in one of his speeches. But the quote is that the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. I'm going to say that again. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. I think we should do something because we're good people. I think inherently we're good people and we want well for everybody. And I think that's true of all people. I don't want to hear anybody talking about, why are you just talking about this group and not that group? Don't want to hear it. All people, according to the archaeologists and the anthropologists, come from one woman. The oldest bones in the world, they said, that they found of a human species was a Moabite Asiatic woman. And we know life comes from a woman. We know that by way of the belly button. No man has ever given birth. So we know life comes from a woman. So we're all one race, one people. The division came with the hegemony. And then some great individual started deciding that now we need to break them down by skulls. Our skull and our head. And he broke us down into 4 groups, pretty much. Then they have to start naming us by crayons. But of course, we're the only group of people, other than they say white people, that are known by crayons. Everyone else is known by their nationality. I think that we should truly consider, who were we before we were slaves? We have a long history, very convoluted history. And people went to great lengths to keep us from knowing this history. But it was given to all of us to know the difference between right and wrong. We have an ability and intuition and intuitiveness that we can decipher and think and feel for ourselves. But for so long, we've been taught to think like someone else. And I think it's time for us to take our minds back and get into the honor of our ancient mothers and fathers and our ancestors. And you know, Kwame said a thing, and I wonder. He said, wonder could it be because he said that people say all of these different things about what Kobe could do and how he did it. And Kwame said that, they call him the Black Mamba, but he said no, it was his ancestors. And perhaps that's the problem, because we're the only group of people who do not acknowledge our ancestors. And that should change. We should get in the honor of our ancestors and take our rightful place in civilization. After all, it was they who introduced civilization to others. As I sit here on this 3rd day, I just feel, I don't know, sometimes, have you ever had a feeling that you don't even know what you're feeling? There's so much going on in the world today, and it's always a fight. And the fight is never really your fight. You're fighting somebody else's fight. There is no way a man talking about honoring a man should ever go to the extent that it would be on the TV, where everybody, and I call that television, for everybody to take something that was so humbling and beautiful and turn it into something about a group of women and someone's sexual preference. I think that is just unbelievable. People, we got to quit letting people tell us what to think and what to respond to. And we got to start using our own minds and respond to things that are important. And this month, I think we should take time to get back to family because that's what it's all about, the family. And we know a house divided against itself cannot stand. That's written. So I think we should spend these 28 days. There was a challenge that Kwame gave to us the other day, and that was take the 28-day challenge for this month and let's show love toward one another. And he talked to the rappers and anybody who's in a domestic situation, anyone who has aught with another. He asked for this month that we just put the guns down, knives, the anger. And let's go back to the times when we as a people used to go to each other's house and play cards or play dominoes. And we understand the atmosphere today, so you can do that over the computer. You don't ever have to never have to leave your home. You can play cards with somebody in a whole nother state. But you can get together as a family on FaceTime, on Duo. You could do it on Zoom. You know, you can get together and tell jokes like we used to. You can even get together and cook like we used to. Mothers, your babies need a little bit more lap time. They need that nurturing. They need that tenderness. They need to know that they are the apple of your eye. Each child that you have more than one. Everybody needs their time. Let's see if we can give them a little extra this month. They say anytime that you want to break a bad behavior, replace it with something different. And if we just tried this one day at a time for 28 days, and I'm 3 days behind, but if we could just try that, it can become a habit in 21 days. And it could be something totally different for your life and your families. We got to get our sons back. We got to get these guns not off the street, but we got to keep them from using them. We must do that. A nation can only rise as high as it views its woman. And right now, women, we're not viewed too well. And the actions of those three women put us even lower. It was so very unnecessary. And we're taught on public jobs that, when we used to have ethics training, there was a question on there about if you seen this or that or whatever, and if your boss, what you tell your boss. And then the answer to that question, it's multiple choice, but you might not want to go to your immediate boss because you don't know if your immediate boss was a part of whatever was going on. So it's amazing what people will do for a job when they say they have honor and integrity, and then they would do something as vicious and venomous as they did to Kwame by taking this and turning it into something that it wasn't. So I would ask each of you to get a pen and paper because I'm going to give you a couple of words and I'd like for you to look them up. One being corruption of blood. Corruption of blood. Two is colored. The word color, colored. Three is minority. the word minority. 4 is hell. Hell, hell. 5 is ward. Ward. 6 is stateless person. Stateless person. And number 7 is going to be free white person. Free white person. And I'd like for you to look those up in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. And you can download that PDF free from your computer. Spend this time, Black History Month, learning a little bit about your history. And again, everything I'm saying is from, and as I shared with you from the very beginning, I'm sharing my experience, the things that I did to come to the conclusions where I am today. There is a saying that is used in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, and that saying is, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. So if you want what I have, then these are the steps that you will take. You'll do what I did. That's a true statement. You can't veer to the left or you can't veer to the right. If you want a result, a specific result, then you have to use the recipe or take the steps that were taken before you to get that same result. Now, since we're using our own mind, hell, you may not think the way I think. So there may be some differences, and that's okay. Because what we learn is, my daddy used to tell us, if you don't use your mind, a nigga take your mind and use it against you. And you can make that be whoever you want the nigga to be. But if you don't use your mind, then someone will take your mind and use it against you. Your knowledge. See, because we all bring something to the table. A lot of us haven't identified it, so we don't know what it is that we bring. But other people can see the brilliance in you that you don't see. Because most of us have been so beaten down. We've been hurt. We've been betrayed. We've been lied to. Some of us have been abused physically, emotionally, mentally, sexually, financially. And so we're very emotional people. We haven't learned, and certainly I can speak to this because I'm very over dramatic, and it's very hard. I can see it communicating with me, because as long as we're in this space, I'm fine. I haven't mastered when we at the point where we disagree that I can stay in this space. Shit, I'm gonna probably sound like the wicked witch of the East. Oh, oh, oh. But one thing is, I'm not ashamed to tell you, and I don't mind apologizing. I don't do a lot of apologizing because I make it my business to try to do things, try to not to do things to have to apologize for. But, I don't know. I'm not clairvoyant. So I don't know when something I say may offend somebody. I can't apologize for my looks. Shit, I won't. Or my personality. I won't do that either. But sometimes you can say things that rub people wrong and you have no clue. And if they don't tell you, you'll never know. And then sometimes they can tell you and you could balk. But I used to tell my older sister, please don't ever stop telling me the truth. No matter how I respond, don't ever stop telling me the truth. Because one thing I know is true. When you get alone, the truth has a way of dealing with you. So don't ever stop. No matter even if I get mad, don't stop telling me the truth. So I'm not going to be on here long because I am going to be appearing on Kwame's show a little later today. There's going to be a young lady on there, and she's supposed to be sharing some information to help single mothers with their businesses. She's entrepreneur, she says, and she want to be giving out some tips and stuff. And Kwame asked me to be a part of that panel, and I'm honored to do so. And so I'm not going to be here much longer, but I had to get out here and put something out because I want to thank all of you for subscribing to my page and actually looking at my videos and taking the time to comment. That means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to the algorithms, and I know it means a lot to YouTube, but personally, it means a lot to me. Also, I do have some product coming out, and I'm a stickler for writing, and so I have journals. This is the Toothless Tiger Journal, and if you're one of those people that don't want fuck them teeth, well, it'll still look like the fuck, but we're going to take it and turn that U upside down because you might not want to have that on your journal or your t-shirt, because I have the t-shirt. That's normally what I wear. And I have the Annie Baby. I also have Annie Baby's journals as well. But on the back of this journal is a very good one. And it says, why settle for less when we are more? And these are the 5 principles that we live by: peace, freedom, love, truth, and justice. We may miss the mark on some of those, but that's what we try to live by. So if you're interested in any of that, just let me know because it is available. Again, I want to thank my 2 individuals that gave me a Cash App. I was so very excited about it. I'm giving to a lot of people on YouTube, and to have the reciprocation of love through the gift of a Cash App was absolutely beautiful. And it really made me feel like a YouTuber. I thank you guys, and I'm still, going up in numbers. And so keep coming. Spread the word, share the video. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, and share. And when you subscribe, if you would go and hit that bell and get all, then you'll get notifications. And the more that you share it or comment on it and always hit the like button, then that's more that I will be put into the algorithms so that my video will be shown and spread around. I thank you guys for listening to me. I really enjoy reading some of those comments. So I'm Annie to many, and I receive all of my new nieces and nephews. I don't mind being a grandmother's image or a mother's image. I am a mother, and I have a daughter that I didn't give birth to, my great niece, and she has children, and so I'm a great grandmother, I want to say, by way of her. And so I just say that Together we can make anything happen. Divided, we're going to fall. I wish we all would just start taking the time to just, whatever you come up with, just do it. I also like to suggest that anybody, if you have something to say, and we all have something to say because we all have life experiences. But if you have something to say or something that you love to do, consider a YouTube channel. Really consider it. Now remember, if you're doing, well, I don't have to tell y'all that. You should know that. What I am going to tell you is that if you like to cook, or if you like to knit, or if you can draw, or you can even color, like even in a coloring book, you would be surprised. There is an audience out here for everything under the sun. So I would say that if it's something that you like to do, consider getting a YouTube channel. It's free. And all you're doing is just sharing you. I don't say get out there and share all your business and make yourself look bad and your family. I'm not saying that. But if that's what you need to do and that's what you want to do, then hey, do that. But I'm just saying that it is so much out here that can give us opportunities to do something different and to even become entrepreneurs. Whereas I'm not making any money now, but who knows what could happen. But I don't really push that about the money part, because this is something I can do for free forever. Also, living with congestive heart failure, some days I have good days and some days I don't. And so I don't want to disappoint or feel like that I'm on a schedule or a regimen, even though I know that it is my business. But I want to be able to be there for you guys just like you're there for me. And I appreciate each and every one of you. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get off here because I don't know the exact time that we're going to get together today. But look forward to coming over to Kwame whenever you see, if you're subscribed. And I know that you guys are, because that's where most of you come from. But be sure to go and when you get your notification, to check us out today. It should be very interesting. And I'll be back with you guys a little bit later. And again, I'm going to start going live sometimes. I have the ability to do that. And I would like, even if some of you guys have something that you'd like to say, to just assemble a panel and let different people say what they would like to say. I don't have a problem with that. If you have any ideas, then you can also leave them in the comments. But I'm going to wish everybody a beautiful day. Be safe, because in Dallas here it's sleeting and snowing today, and all the schools are closed for today and tomorrow. So I don't know what part of the country that you're looking at me from, but if you have bad weather, please stay in if you don't have to go out. Drink plenty of water so that you can stay hydrated, and take your vitamins and eat. Remember, we need our immune systems. A healthy immune system makes a healthy body. And I'm going to say, Ashe.